Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to this update. We wanted to provide you an update because of increasing Santa Ana winds, two events expected over the next several days right through Thanksgiving. This will be some impact to our fire weather conditions in Southern California. It's been really warm. On the left-hand side is the past 14 days, right-hand side past 30 days. Most noticeable in November is our mountains and deserts, which had a record warm summer, have been running very warm, much above average as shown here. But even warm conditions have now spread to the coast, warmer than average. If you look at the precipitation, well, it was wet. We had significant precipitation in October, 3 events in Southern California, 1 big one in Northern California in late October. But even including that, now we are running a deficit. So our percent of average precipitation over the past 30 days is considerably below average in Southern California. So it's really dried out. In fact, most areas have received no rain in November. Speaking of drying out, one ingredient to making our vegetation and our fire conditions high is having warm temperatures, but we've also had record warm temperatures. The most recent Santa Ana wind brought record warm temperatures with 90s across much of the area. This upcoming event, not expected to be as warm, but still temperatures well in the 80s. This is reflected in the fuel moisture. So the recent very warm temperatures, low humidity, the dry Santa Ana wind really took a toll. It has now put us back to conditions much closer and almost the same as what we saw in late September and very early October as shown here, before that beneficial rain began in October. What kind of winds are we expecting? These are the peak wind gusts. Primarily Sunday morning will be the peak. Notice the Cajon Pass, which it'll affect travel in that area and also fire weather conditions. So most of our wind-prone areas, the yellow shaded, will be over 40-mile-per-hour gusts Sunday morning, and our windiest spots over 50 miles per hour, with the most wind-prone areas exceeding 60 miles per hour. So those are our canyons and passes. Do notice that the wind will also blow offshore all the way to the coast, just not nearly as strong. So it's not a widespread strong event, but it is locally strong. This is a moderate Santa Ana wind. Some of the computer model data shows that the winds will really start to pick up Saturday night around midnight. And we'll see the peak of those winds likely Sunday morning, just before and just after sunrise on Sunday morning. So windy conditions, offshore flow, Santa Ana winds quickly developing Saturday evening and increasing Saturday night and Sunday morning. So at that time in those windy areas, the humidity will also begin to drop and really be low during the day on Sunday. The good news is it's a relatively short duration Santa Ana wind, and by Monday morning, even though we'll still be offshore, Santa Ana winds will be much lighter. Speaking of the humidity, it looks like humidities will bottom out most areas of the Inland Empire and Orange County below 10%. That's very dry. That is critical for fire weather conditions. Almost everywhere we'll see humidity get down to between 10 and 15%, mountains and even coastal areas. Temperatures, as mentioned, will heat up, not as hot expected as the most recent heat wave, but nonetheless, temperatures getting well into the 80s on Sunday. Due to those Santa Ana winds. And notice that the coast is as hot, if not a little bit warmer, than the deserts and inland valleys, and that is a typical Santa Ana wind pattern. Our sea breeze just won't be effective, and it'll be pushed out to sea, and it won't return until Monday. Here is the area of red flag that's currently in effect. So the purple shaded areas includes the windy corridors of the Inland Empire and extends all the way up and through the LA Basin and LA Mountains. Be sure to check weather.gov for the latest map of the current hazards that are in effect, as these can change. Red flag warning. It's in effect all the way through Sunday evening for parts of the Inland Empire and Orange County. and it's in effect all the way through Monday for parts of the LA basin. What's causing this? Well, our weather pattern remains amplified, remains split. So this amplified weather pattern puts us on the wrong side, the dry side of the storm track and the windy side. And so that's what's going to happen on Sunday. That surface high pressure, a rather strong surface high pressure, will set up over Salt Lake City and produce a considerable gradient from north to south, creating those Santa Ana winds. They can't get through the mountains, so they get forced between the canyons and passes, and it's that much stronger in those areas. Now, we actually have a weather system offshore that breaks away from the jet stream and will meander on in here on Tuesday. It does pose a threat to some rainfall, so that'll be nice. That'll be beneficial. The onshore flow will increase. This system is completely separate from the Santa Ana wind, so it's occurring above and over it. So even with the dry air in place, there's still the potential for some showers as we get into Tuesday. This storm system will follow that red line and move across Southern California. What do we expect beyond that? For the Thanksgiving week, it looks like a return to Santa Ana winds, above average warm temperatures, and that offshore flow. And that's because the storm track continues to remain just to our east along that red line. The cold air that spills into the Great Basin will set up another high pressure system for more offshore flow or more Santa Ana wind. That'll start as early as Wednesday, and at its peak looks like Thursday morning, Thanksgiving. What's the outlook during that period? Well, because of that Santa Ana wind and that storm track, warmer than average and drier than it should be. Some years, as you recall a couple years ago, we've had some big winter storms Thanksgiving weekend. Not the case here. It looks like we'll be on the dry, warm side. As we get further into early December, same thing. Above average temperatures really for all of California and below average precipitation potential. As we look further out into December, unfortunately, the latest forecast indicates the same thing. There should be an active storm track setting up again for the Pacific Northwest, but a lot of that, almost all of that, could miss Southern California, so it puts us in the dry, warm side. Here are the highlights. Another Santa Ana wind event. This is number 6 for this fall. It's going to develop Saturday evening and especially Saturday night, and it'll peak out Sunday morning. That's when we'll see our strongest winds that'll impact traffic. And then with the humidity dropping Sunday morning, even during the dark hours before sunrise, humidity dropping quickly, humidity will bottom out around 7 to 12%. So that presents dangerous fire weather conditions, red flag conditions across the Inland Empire, Santa Ana Mountains, and LA Basin. Believe it or not, it's a short duration event, so that's good news. There is a threat for some rain on Tuesday into Tuesday night. Then right back into the same weather pattern with a storm going by to our east, us being on the dry side in Southern California and those offshore flows. Make sure you tune in to weather.gov or check out our social media pages. We'll post the latest information, the latest watches and warnings. Those alerts will be posted on weather.gov in real time. Thanks for tuning in. Have a safe holiday week.